Hello. In this video, I'm going to go through all of the updates that have taken place within the Jackrabbit Relay system over the last week. And there have been many. Most notably, separating the future markets from the spot markets module. So let's start. In the GitHub folder with the update script itself. Now my system is already up to date, as you can see, but you will see a lot of different things, including the CCXT library being updated if needed to be. So now that we are up to date, before we actually begin the upgrade process, I'm going to go into Midnight Commander. I'm going to go to the higher folder. Go into my working version and create a backup. For the sake of not having one, let's just go through and create a folder. Now, be sure you're in the directory you want. And we're just going to call it short and simple. Now go into the folder you created. Tab key will go back to the other folders and press F5. Make a backup. This is not needed, but it's simply good practice. Okay, so F10, exit. Now, the new update place order script. Okay, it says it needs to have an exchange. So I'm going to give it both of my exchanges. Now you'll notice it creates two files, one for the spot market, one for the future market. Let's go back into Midnight Commander and talk about that part. But I'm going to do so from my active Jackrabbit Relay folder. Okay, both of these files have already been updated. As you can see, everything matches. The new update place order script automatically fixes that. Now you'll see a couple of more scripts you can copy over as well, like relay kill. And that brings us to the first major change within the server itself. And you will have to copy this part manually. So simply highlight it in the GitHub folder. Press F5, making sure the right side is in your active system. Press enter. Mine is already up to date, but you would simply say yes. The new server framework supports the separation of the markets And that is the first step that you need to do. It also creates a PID file for the port number so that you can now run multiple relays on one server. The relay kill will actually kill off a relay running on a given port. But right now we have the old version, so we need to kill that one off first. So let's get out of Midnight Commander through F10. We need a full process list. Unfortunately, we need to figure out where Jackrabbit Relay is for the first version. It wasn't very bright in helping us find it. So, this command will list all of the processes. From here on out, you'll never need to use this command again once the new server is running. Now, we wait a few seconds for this to load all of your processes. Press the / and type relay. That should bring us to the relay launcher script. And now we have the actual relay line we want. This is the file we want to cancel. So let's see if we can do this without messing up the screen. Or if you have a way, let's copy it. Okay, good. Now we quit. I did that just in case the numbers disappeared. So now we kill -9, which is the kill signal, and then this number, which if the copy went right, it will be the same number. Press enter. Now we repeat this command. Type relay again, and we'll see the server is gone and it is waiting. It will wait for 3 minutes. You can cheat and kill this too, or you can wait. Whichever is easiest for you. I'm going to cheat and kill it. Not that one. Just make sure you copy the right number. Okay, it's not going to work, so we're going to do it the hard way. Three, 8, 6, 0, 1, 6, 4. Check your number. Press enter. And now I'm going to verify it just to make sure. The new server is up and running. And you see here the PID file or process ID file. So now that we have the new server up and running, we'll go back to my active relay folder and you'll see it matches this number. So now if we need to ever restart the server, the kill relay script will do that for us. So that's probably the most difficult part of this whole process. Once that is done, these will take over. Now you will be left with the older versions that don't have the future or spot. You can delete those if you want, which is why I recommend the backup from the beginning. That way, if something goes wrong, you have the original folder as it was. But now you see place order FTX for the futures market, place order FTX for the spot market. If you have a market that you know you can't use, you can simply delete that market. Just be sure, of course, you are on the right file. And you can keep all of the unwanted files down to a minimum. But we're not done yet. There's one other thing that we need to talk about. You'll see a new testing folder with mock messages. I'm going to show you how to test the updates. You can modify this appropriate to whatever command you want to use. For example, and then add your settings. For example, we don't want to modify anything, so we're just going to leave it straightforward. And I'm not going to save this file. We have one message for buy, one message for close, one message for sell. You can just use one file, but really it's tedious. So we're going to go into the base folder. Now you can be in the GitHub directory or in your active Jackrabbit Relay directory. This part doesn't matter. We're going to use the future module of the placeholder, and we're going to have it read and process the buy message. What we are going to do is place a manual purchase in the futures market with the message we have in that file. And as you can see, it came up with an error. Okay, the reason my command failed is I have a test file without the correct information. So be sure you verify all of your settings. So here is the correct file with the account information. And now we see I just placed a perpetual trade. Now I wish to thank Jonas for providing me with a test account. It goes by meatgrinder_, as it helped me figure out what was going wrong with the system. First thing you'll notice with the log entry is the header has changed. This module is for futures only. And of course, the current version number. You see all of the analysis. See the previous contracts. And you see the new contracts. Now we're going to repeat the message, but we're going to choose the close. This testing method works both on spot and futures. Simply make your message and then feed it into the processor. And you can test extensively and aggressively to see which markets work well and issues that might need fixing. So now that we've shown the process, here is another distinct difference. Depending upon your direction of your contract, place order will automatically figure out what is necessary to close it. The other thing specific for the future version of place order is long and short as an action will override any reduction process, letting you flip your position. So if you have a short for $10 and you issue a long for $20, you will end up with a position long $10. The same is true for shorts. It will automatically flip it and override the reduce only setting if you have it in your configuration. So let's recap a little bit of this information because there is a lot here. The update place order script has been made and modified to handle a lot of the updates for you. You should actively back up your installation before you perform this or any upgrade. Sometimes things go wrong. And as you can see, I have 2 backups. You can have as many as you want. Now you might want to automate it. That is up to you. Some things I prefer doing by hand just because I want to make sure they're done a specific way. The scripts themselves have been modified and new programs have taken place. And you will see when you make a test the log entries for the CCXT place order program. This is the trade I just made. You can delete this, but it does keep trading separate from your main unless you use your main modules, and you can. You don't need to keep it either. Now the relay script also identifies itself now with its own version. But more importantly, here is the old log I had. Here is my new log. If you do futures trading, it will be FTX future. Important, I said future, singular. The market is a singular denotation, not plural as often used in common language references. Again, you see the identifier and the version. And you see how each process is maintained appropriate to the market it trades in. Now the old scripts will remain, the old logs will remain unless you choose to delete them, which you can over time if you wish. in your active system. You will have the old versions that will remain. I removed them for the purposes of cleaning my system up. You don't have to. But if you're like I am and don't like unnecessary files in the way, it's a good idea to. You will have one port file per every implementation of Jackrabbit Relay you run. The system now lets you run multiple versions on the same machine. You can run them out of the same directory or different directories. That is your choice. You will have a way to update the place order program easily and a way to restart the server easily without disturbing the launcher. That's really it. Everything else is said and done and works great. Hopefully. Just make sure you take your time. Watch the video multiple times if needed. But really, it's that simple. Until next time.